What it do? It's your guy, DY Fly, and preseason's in the books. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of going into the season as an Eagles fan. I'm not going to be doom and gloom, but we are going to keep things 100, and, you know, we it is what it is at this point, all right? I do see some things that could be a hindrance for us reaching our ultimate goal, which is a Super Bowl champion, but we'll talk about it. Look, I'm not sponsored by anybody, so this truth you about to get, it ain't stepped on. It's pure. But first and foremost, I just want to say a big thanks to Howie Roseman for giving me a happy birthday present by bringing Jahan Dotson to the Philadelphia Eagles to fill in our third wide receiver slot that we desperately needed. He's the man. I mean, y'all know the details by now, but that is a great need. Just in case AJ and Devontae, if they have to miss some time, then he could fill in. And even while they're on the field, if he gets one-on-one coverage, he'll be able to take advantage of that. So shouts out to Howie. I mean, we're going to get to it, but first, it's so easy to figure out who watches the Eagles games and who doesn't. It's like the national media has the narrative completely wrong. Barely anyone watches the games. The narrative is all on Jalen Hurts and the offense. They're talking about the offense. Can Jalen Hurts get everyone the ball? It's like, did y'all not watch our games last year? Obviously not. I can't even believe that I clicked on it. But that show Speak came up on my YouTube. But I see Shady and I see D-Jax on the thumbnail. So I'm like, all right, let me see what they got to say. So they up there, you know, they going throughout the panel. And James Jones gets the mic. He's up there talking out of his neck. This is a make or break year for Jalen Hurts. Can he get everyone the ball? Their offense really struggled last year down the stretch. And I'm like, did y'all watch the games? He didn't watch the games. Here's the most frustrating part. Shady didn't check him. D-Jax didn't check him. They're up there with the same narrative of, I still need to see it. I still need to see it from Jalen. I'm like, Jalen Hurts and the offense is the only reason why we won 11 games last year. It wasn't the defense, it wasn't the coaches, and it sure as hell wasn't the play calling from the coaches. Jalen Hurts carried us while he was hurt. Him, AJ, Devontae, GOAT, the offensive line. The defense was a sieve, like Bart Scott said.
They can't stop a nosebleed.
So I'm like, what are these dudes talking about? I know they watched the game, so I don't know why they're look, if Shady was a part of a team where the offense was carrying the whole squad and the defense didn't do nothing and the coaches didn't do nothing and the play calling was atrocious, trust me, we would know about it. He's still talking about Chip Kelly. Yet, if you look at the stats, both him and D-Jax had career years under Chip Kelly, but we're going to forget about that, all right? And don't get me wrong, Shady and D-Jax, not just Eagles, two of my favorite players of all time. So to hear them, you know, go along with the get along and not really correcting anybody, saying, nah, it wasn't Jalen Hurts, it wasn't the offense, is crazy to me. The narratives that they be pushing out there against Jalen is crazy. Can he get all those guys the ball? Like, he wasn't in the Super Bowl just 2 years ago going toe-to-toe against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. That wasn't a question when he was supporting ajbrown, devontasmith, Miles Sanders, and Dallas Goedert. Now we upgraded the weapons, and now you're talking about, oh, can he support those guys? I don't know what Jalen did to these people, you know, other than existing, being great. Like, Jordan Brand doesn't ask slouches to be a part of their team. The Olympics, they don't ask low-level players to be ambassadors for the event. That's 4 years from now. So he's young and good. And nobody questions Joe Burrow. Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl more recent than Joe Burrow, but yet no one questions him. And he can't stay healthy. These people are crazy. So let's get into the topic of this video, the pros and cons of being an Eagles fan this year. And let's start with the pros, because the cons might go a little bit long. I'm not going to lie. The pros, Howie Roseman. In my mind, I see Howie looking at a board and he sees all green and he sees like a couple red spots, and he's like, we need to address that. We need to address that. And he addresses it. He's not sitting on his hands like some other GMs waiting for the team to get better. Having a proactive GM, it might not always work, but just having a GM that addresses the problem, I appreciate that. Not everybody can say that. Number 2, the upgrade in our offensive and defensive coordinators. Kellen Moore, he will be a boost to the offense, which is already great. Everyone's going to get their numbers. That's essentially it. Jalen Hurts, he'll be up for MVP. AJ should have another 1,400 yard season. Devontae should get over the hump and get 1,200 yards and, 8 to 10 touchdowns, my guess. Goddard is the only person that I think will take a hit statistically. He'll be key into making big plays at big time moments, catching big touchdowns. So I think his touchdown total will be kind of high. But his yardage and catch total might be a little bit low, especially with Jahan Dotson being in the mix and Saquon. I can't believe y'all let us get Saquon.
Yeah, they squabbling out there now. Yeah.
He should be running wild, maybe like 1,200 on the ground and then maybe another 300 in the air, something like. The upgrade on the defensive side, Vic Fangio, it is an upgrade from last year. I will say that. I do have a question, which we'll get to in a con. It's not really a con, but it's just more of a question. I got a question. Yeah, so I'm not really worried about our offense at all. Kellen Moore, he's just going to get everybody's numbers right. Now, con number 2 is our defense not playing during the preseason. Now, this is a problem because our defense was bad last year. And when I say bad, I mean terrible. And when I mean terrible, I mean the 30th ranked defense in the league. Now, I'm not sure if you're aware, but there's only 32 teams in the league. So we were 2 away from being the worst defense in the league. I would have liked to see them on the field. A lot of people said they would have liked to see the offense on the field, but I'm not worried about our offense. All right. Again, they're the only reason why we had any wins last year, and we shouldn't even won that much. But our defense, I would have liked to see them on the field to see if the concepts of Vic Fangio can actually work with them together. I wanted to see them, see if they were cohesive and, like kind of like an amoeba. If one moves this way, then the other one moves this way and their zone is covered or whatever. If one blitzes, the other one got each other's back. In my opinion, we only have one elite player, and that's Jalen Carter, and he's only in his 2nd season. That's not where I want to be as a defense. But BG, Sweaty J, they're going to show up. They're going to do their thing. They're going to be in the positions that they're going to need to be in. I'm not worried about them. Milton Williams, he's a nice rotational piece. I'm not worried about him. Jordan Davis, yes, I'm worried about him. He was played sparingly last year. Not big time minutes, wasn't in a big time role. He's a 1st round pick. I need to see something. Nolan Smith, he looks like he's getting bullied out there, like just tossed around like a little kid, just move him anywhere. The speed and explosiveness from college it doesn't seem to be translated, and we were really counting on him losing Hassan Reddick. Bryce Huff, I'm gonna need to see something, man. I'm gonna need to see something. On to our linebackers. Devin White, I know he has the voice to lead the team. Will his play live up? I don't know. I mean, even with Tampa Bay, and this is just me, I thought he was a little bit overrated. I thought the Super Bowl boosted his cachet a little bit, but in terms of his play, I mean, I know he could talk, and I know he could galvanize the guys a little bit, so I like that, but I always thought he was a little bit overrated. And who's playing next to him? Is it Kevin Bond? Is it N'Kobe? Is it Axeman Jr.? The fact that we don't know who's going to be our linebacking duo at this point, that's bothersome. And the fact that our defense didn't show anything during the preseason, or they didn't play together, is bothersome as a whole. I'm not just talking about those two, but I'm saying as a whole. And we'll get to why the linebacker spot is so important later in the video in terms of Vic Fangio's defense. And our DBs, I like our DBs. That's actually the bright spot of our defense, in my opinion. Right now, I think we're playing around. Like, why would we draft Quinyon Mitchell and then say, hey, play in the slot? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Put him out there on a corner and let him work. He's been working against AJ all offseason. And Devontae, let him work. Why would you draft Cooper DeJean, bring in Isaiah Rodgers, have Avonte Maddox, and then move your first round pick to the slot? That doesn't make, it's not, I don't like the fact that we're playing around and we still have decisions to make about this. Safeties, I like our safeties. CJ GJ, Reed Blankenship, I like them. Can they stay healthy? Hopefully. Sidney Brown, he be laying the smackdown on folks, so I want to see him on the field more. Bradbury, I don't know what, we playing around. We moving him to safety. We gonna cut him, we gonna trade him. What? Make a decision. Doesn't make any sense. Pick 6 Ricks, I like him, but they're talking about he might not even make the team. I don't know. I liked him on the outside corner. I think he just needed some experience. Kelee Ringo. Now, Kelee Ringo is important because of Darius Slay. This is just me, all right? I like Darius Slay. He has been a great leader in the locker room. He's done a lot in the community, him and his wife. Shout out to Darius Slay. Big play Slay. But quiet as kept, the only reason why we haven't talked about his play since the second half of the Super Bowl year is because how bad Bradbury's been. But Slay has been lackluster, to say the least. Maybe Howie sees that, but maybe his leadership trumps all that, and he stays on the team. But for me, if Kelee is ready to go, then Kelee needs to be on the corner, Quinyon on the other side, put Isaiah Rodgers in the slot, and let's go. Let's go. Stop playing around. But this team needs to be together on defense, and we'll get to that in a bit. Con number 2 is Vic Fangio's defense. I'm not saying that his defense is bad, but we don't have the personnel to run his defense, so it might turn out bad anyway. So very quickly, his best 2 stints in the NFL were with the 49ers and the Bears. Now, if we look at that 49ers team, we can see very clearly that their personnel is all elite. They got guys like Aldon Smith, who's a sack machine, Ahmad Brooks, Justin Smith, Ray McDonald, Carlos Rogers, Dante Hittner, Eric Reed, and Navarro Bowman, a former defensive player of the year. And then the second best linebacker I've ever seen with my 2 eyes behind Sugar Ray Lewis and Patrick Willis. Now, do we have a Navarro Bowman or Patrick Willis in our linebacking room? That question is rhetorical. If you look at his Bears team, then you'll see that he had guys like Akeem Nicks, Kyle Fuller, Leonard Floyd, Danny Trevathan. Oh, okay. Prince Amukamara. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, Eddie Jackson. Oh, who's that? Roquan Smith. Oh, he's one of the best linebackers in the league. Oh, okay. Oh, and Khalil Mack. Now, just a rhetorical question. Do we have a Roquan Smith on our team or Khalil Mack? I'm just wondering. But if that's what he needs for his defense to be elite, we're going to have an issue. I just wanted to bring this up. I don't want everyone to be shocked if we don't put the product that we have in our head out on the field and it's lackluster. If we end up being a middling defense and hopefully we can get it together by the end of the season, that will be great. I would love that, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And like I said, the only elite player that we have is Jalen Carter. Can Quinyon Mitchell be that? Possibly, but we messing around, putting them in the slot. All right, when Malik Neighbors comes into town, what are we going to do? All I'm saying is let's temper expectations. It seems like we have the talent, but I don't know if Vic has the talent to run his defense the way he wants it to be run. So I'm just putting it out there.
God damn.
Third on the list is our quarterback 2. Now, as much praise as I can give Howie Roseman for all the great things that he's done and all the moves that he makes and not really sitting on his hands, I must say this is the 3rd year we have had cheeks for a backup in Gardner Minshew, Marcus Mariota, and now Kenny Pickett. This needs to be addressed. I don't know why we can't find a competent backup to Jalen Hurts, just in case QB1 has to miss time for any reason. I mean, we have the playmakers, so we just needed someone to come in distribute the ball, get the ball in the hands of our playmakers, and they can do the rest and not do too much and not turn the ball over. Now, last but not least is our coach, Nick Sirianni. One thing that the national media got right is Nick is kind of on the hot seat, and I agree with that. My only problem with Nick is his arrogance. And what I mean by that is if things aren't going right, he has this gung-ho approach of just keep pushing along, not switching anything up. And a lot of people question what's his role or whatever. Look, I'm fine with the CEO head coach. Dick Vermeil, the old coach for the Rams, the greatest show on turf, he was a CEO head coach. Go out there, talk to the media, do press conferences, and get the team riled up. Now, when it comes to in-game decisions, that's what he needs to focus on. Calling timeouts at the right time, going forward at the right time. During the Super Bowl season, he was on point. It seems like he couldn't make a wrong move. We need that guy back. Now, I don't know about the beef. I don't know if it's real or not. I don't know these dudes personally. But if Jalen was tight, he had a reason to be, because he left him out to dry so many times the year before and not switching up the play calling, and Brian Johnson got fired. That might be a little bit to do with it too. I'm not worried about our offense, but if our defense doesn't show up, is he going to make any changes? I don't know. But Nick, he needs to be under the watchful eye of Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman. That's for sure. So I want to see them do well, and I want to see the team win a Super Bowl. I want to see them have a top-notch year and have fun doing it. I want to see them have more ups than downs and take care of business. But that's all I got. If you like the video, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'm gonna be coming with the content this year. I'm not going to be reporting on Eagles news. There's a lot of great content creators for that, but I will be reacting to the games throughout the season. Might do a pregame. I'll definitely do a postgame. So, to just get my angle from it, it might be a little bit different from what you heard. So if you don't like that, you know the deal.
You going to get down or you going to fucking lay down?